So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our very, very special panel on holistic steps to vibrant health. My name is Nandini Gulati, and I have been working as a holistic health coach for about 8 years after I quit international marketing career. And it was one of the best decisions of my life to do that. I have co authored a healthy plant based cookbook called Guilt Free Vegan Cookbook, and I'm working on my second one, which will be an Indian plant based cookbook, and it's due for release just after Diwali. And I'm presently on a sabbatical to go deeper into the understanding of health and also resolve some of my remaining health issues. I love to explore the mystical aspects of the universe. I love nature, and I have a small organic garden patch that keeps me busy for hours as I learn how to grow my own vegetables and green leaves and herbs. It's the joy of my life. And I'm very, very excited to present to you today's panel. First of all, we have Daryl D'Souza joining us from Goa. Welcome, Daryl.
Thank you.
Daryl reversed 14 years of sickness within 1 year of using integrative natural medicine. He has been teaching how to reverse chronic illness with integrated natural therapies since 15 years, with workshops, videos, seminars, residential retreats, and through his book, Become Healthy or Extinct, which I have read, and I think it's an amazing book and everyone should get a copy of it, and it's available for free on his website as a PDF download. Daryl is also an organic farmer, an environmentalist, a TEDx speaker, founder of Earth Keepers Connect, ambassador of Vegan Nation, convener of the New Earth Summit, and a speaker at the World Parliaments on Spirituality. And I'm so happy to get his perspective today on the topic that we have for you today. Shanu Singh is joining us from between Bombay and Goa, and he's a natural health evangelist and a detox specialist. He has helped many people across the world to reverse their lifestyle related health ailments through the process of what he calls regenerative detoxification. I'm extremely intrigued about this and looking forward to learn more. After reversing his own long term ailments, including diabetes, he wanted to share his knowledge at a larger level and founded his initiative called Natutarian to spread awareness about natural food, natural living, and natural healing for human health, a better environment, and animal welfare. He's a raw vegan, a regenerative detoxification specialist from International School of Detoxification, Florida, and a certified permaculturist. He continues extensive research on natural healing and detoxification. He's also working towards building his natural permaculture food forest with a detox retreat and developing natural self-sustainable vegan communities in India. Oh my God, aren't we all looking forward to that? And Sai Bapat is joining us from Bangalore. She's an IT professional turned holistic nutrition health coach and yoga therapist. She has been a national level swimmer, a marathoner, yoga teacher, and now works as a holistic nutrition health coach in Bangalore. She holds a certification in nutrition from Cornell University and a master's in yogic science. She's also a student of Nature Cure since last few years. She believes in constantly upgrading her knowledge of holistic nutrition, yoga, and nature cure, as that combination, she believes, truly delivers rich rewards. So welcome once again to Sai, Shanu, and Daryl for joining us today. And welcome to all the participants who are tuning in to watch this panel with us. So I want to start off by asking Daryl first, what is your understanding of vibrant health?
Thank you, Nandini, for that wonderful introduction, and so glad to be on this panel with other panelists as well who have such wonderful experience and commitment. Now, for me, simple things. Vibrant health is one indicator for me is when you get up in the morning. You see, are you feeling groggy or are you feeling up, and can you just step out of bed and do anything in the day? Um, we don't see that happening with many people when they get out of bed. They are just, kind of finding their way around. By the time they get to the wash basin, wash their face and do their, brushing of their teeth and all that. And some people, it even takes to sit down, have a hot cup of coffee and tea to kind of, get those natural stimulants to get them up in the day. So that's an indicator. I say, the energy system is not functioning really well. That's the first thing a person can look for in the day. Vibrant health means uh, when you're up in the morning, you should be your entire hormone system, your endocrine system, your energy system, your chakras should be awake, and you should, you know, uh, be able to do anything that you choose to. So other indicators for me in vibrant health is having a lot of energy till the end of the day, where you don't even fall. You're not just waiting to plonk on the couch at 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. And if that's happening to you, either you had a very laborious day, or if it's not been too much of physical activity, that's a second indicator why energy is dropping down. And of course, there could be many reasons to it. And vibrant health also for me is with positivity, good cheer, and optimistic outlook. And I guess all of these things will come. And I don't only guess, of course, I know it very clearly. These things are normal occurrences if you are on a healthy diet, healthy habits, and medium amount of movement and exercise. So that's vibrant health for me.
Thank you, Daryl. Shanu, could I ask you next, what is vibrant health for you? What is your understanding?
Thanks, Nandini, for the wonderful introduction. And I'm happy and lucky to be the part of this panel and all the, well-educated and well-experienced in the natural health space. Yeah, our topic is, holistic steps to the natural vibrant health. I would say the health cannot be expressed by the unnatural empty words we humans speak. We felt and experienced, right? And the holistic, the word itself is, if you stick to whole, you have the vibrant health. So when it is whole foods in nature, this nature spontaneous foods when you eat, the way the other species eat, like all other animal friends. And when you are part of the one whole nature, like sun, connected to earth, fresh air, and the entire experience on natural diet, the natural surrounding, the connectedness to the entire nature, that's when you are the most healthy, and you can experience it, the way your energy is, the way your frame of mind is, and how at peace you are. So it's all everything, right? So holistic means, peaceful, energetic, you feel fresh, and you feel positive. So that's what holistic health or vibrant health means to me. And in that, you are not then dependent on any foreign substances, which the various industries and businesses sell. Your body, your organism is self-healing when it's given the right environment and right food, right? It doesn't need anything from outside, no foreign substances, especially in the synthetic chemicals. Body, it becomes from a very small embryo of few grams to a human of 60, 70 kgs, right? So that entire power of healing and being and existing is within the organism, and you don't get it from anywhere outside. So that's when I say, when the organism is at the best health levels, it doesn't need anything from outside or any manual or human intervention. It's self-healing, and that's what vibrant health needs to be.
Wonderful, thank you. Sai, could you share with us what is your understanding of vibrant health?
Sure, Nandini. First of all, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And I'm feeling really privileged to be here amongst all the experts. So thank you so much. So my definition of health has been changing over time. When I used to run marathon, I thought running marathon makes you healthy. When your blood reports come normal, then I used to think I'm healthy. But now I have quite a deeper understanding of health. And as we have symptoms for diseases, there are indicators of health. Daryl and Shanu have already covered. So let me quickly once more stress upon them. So simple indications of health, like for example, physical indications, as simple as a deep sleep, as Daryl said. And deep sleep means when you wake up in the morning, how are you feeling? Are you energetic? Then are you feeling keenly hungry throughout the day? Because keen hunger makes sure that your body is ready to receive the nutrition, and also you can taste the subtle taste of the natural food and enjoy it, right? And also the third physical indicator that I want to talk about is, are you feeling lightness in the body? Lightness not necessarily only mean weight of your body, but are you feeling light? Like when we detox properly, there is this feeling of lightness. And what about, feeling light in the mind? Like when we are not heavily stressed down by some conflicts in the mind, then we feel light in the mind. So those are some of the physical indicators for me. And also elimination, which is timely and effortless elimination. And then there are a couple of mental indicators for me which represent vibrant health. And one of it is cheerful or joyful mind, as Shanu said. If you have that cheerful mind, then you are able to accept or face the everyday challenges with creativity and patience. And then you can come out of those challenges feeling stronger and wiser. And the second mental indicator is, are you having willingness to work? Now, when we have willingness to work, we enjoy the freedom of thought, right? And then we can think about not only sustaining, but also serving our family and society and nature and what is to be done. So when all these indicators are ticked or they are positive, then our body won't seek, no part of the body seeks attention. That's what we see in nature cure. When no part of your body is seeking attention, that means you are healthy or vibrant health. So that is what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are really very comprehensive definitions. Thank you so much. So my question is that why is there such a widespread breakdown in health among, people that we see around? What are some of the, like when you work with clients, people that you help, what is it that you notice? What is the biggest reason for the breakdown in health? Or why, where have we broken away from this holistic way of living? So can I start with Daryl?
Yes, Nandini. I think in our modern world, the main culprit that I see, of course, people come with symptoms and they come with a story and a history, uh, and pretty long history if they've got some chronic conditions. But one of the main contributors I see are, the foods that people eat, and mainly these processed foods, okay, manufactured foods. And if we look at nature, like Shanu also mentioned, and this is in my TEDx talk where I say that God has provided food to all living beings on this planet, and none of them are, except human beings, are cooking their food, for example. And that's the gateway where we have kind of altered our foods the most. And of course, cooking food at home can be safer and more healthy, but it's it's a very minimal kind of preparation or alteration. You at least can see the natural ingredients still on your plate. But the food formats that come, which are the rave in the world today, all the supermarkets and all the malls, that's completely manufactured food with a lot of chemicals, preservatives, stabilizers, and all of that. And there are substances in it which make them addictive also by taste. And so people have got onto that bandwagon of all the foods, and they think food comes from malls, unfortunately. So I find that as the biggest contributor to toxicity within the human body, aging of organs. And I think the general public at large, they don't understand that, they look at their face or their body, the dry skin, dark circles under the eyes, and all of these features. And uh, more so, women are also looking at fixing all of that by putting something from the outside. without realizing that it's all the toxicity that is inside which is coming out. So I see that processed foods is one of the biggest contributors to chronic illness. Then the second thing, again, because you can attribute it to lifestyle, is a sedentary life without much of exercise. And people think that they can be sedentary throughout the day and have a burst of energy in the evening, which is pretty intensive for half an hour, and that has harmed some people. Uh, and study of centenarians show that people who have crossed 100, that they do movement and little bit of work all throughout the day. So that's what people are missing in the modern world: a lack of blood flow, a lack of moderate to intense breathing in short bursts, uh, lack of joint mobilization and flexibility, and that brings in also lower organ function. And I think, of course, finally, it's emotions and stresses in the modern world, and I think the environment that people live in, the kind of air that they're breathing, if there are pollutants and toxins in the air, those are a little at a lower scale depending on case to case basis. But I think across the board, I would put unnatural forms of food which are coming from all these you know uh, manufactured formats in these big malls made by huge companies. They do their marketing so well and promise you so many things that you will even leave what's growing in your garden and run after them. So that's the trap people are falling for. And only after people do a long journey of kidney stones and liver stones and toxicity and organ dysfunction or constipation and all of that, when they do that journey of sickness, then they come to look at if they've heard about food healing and they know about such testimonies, then they look towards healthy food. Otherwise, in general, I think people are pretty, um, uh, careless, and they only wait for something to happen to them to realize that it's time to get a fix.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you know what's amazing is many years ago, I used to go to a small organic market, organic shop in Delhi to pick things up. And that was the first time and I heard this moringa powder, and she was pushing this moringa powder onto me. And I was like, wait, isn't moringa drumsticks? So she's like, yeah. So I said, can I not just get it from the drumstick leaves fresh? Like, why do I have to buy a powder in a packet and pay 600 rupees for it when I could just pluck it off fresh? And she's like, yeah, you can do that. But you know how these things are marketed? Like even the health supplements, like you said, people would rather buy it in a box. They seem to trust that more than pick it off a plant.
Very
I
right.
completely resonate with that. If any of you would like to add anything to what Daryl just said, and Shanu, I would go with you next in terms of what is your understanding, why health is breaking down, and what's the way in which people are disconnected.
Well, I think Daryl covered a lot, but if I have to talk about it, I think it started when we started cooking many thousand years back and started agricultural society. Because for many millions of years, we have to, trust Darwin's theory of evolution. Our primates and ancestors, they lived in jungle and they ate the way the other animals eat in the forest, right? And it's only a couple of thousand years back, at just a fraction or a second, entire evolution, that we started agriculture and cooking and started processing our foods. I mean, any food which you eat, which you can't process with your own body, which is your fingers and teeth, is actually unnatural to the body. It lacks all the natural enzymes which help in digest, and it is processed. It renders acidic ash in the body, and it remains undigested for a longer time, because in your intestines are 30 feet long, and if the undigested food stays in your system for long, it turns into toxins, and those toxins then are actually major issue of all the diseases. I would as a student and as a detoxification specialist, I have understood and I was taught, and that I have also experienced on myself and my patients and clients, that there are four major processes happening in the human body, right? So that is number one is digestion. When you eat, the number one process which happens, digestion starts from mouth and it happens till the intestine. Then it's the absorption. So whatever you eat, the body has to utilize and absorb and utilize. That's the third process, and elimination. But what's happening that nowadays humans are so busy in making money, they think that anything which they put in the body and anything which they make touch their body has no importance in their life, but they should just keep making money. So if you are eating those processed foods, and when I say processed, it means bread also is processed by women. The breads don't hang on the trees, right? It's not natural, right? That is junk food. So, a seed actually has to become a plant. So you're actually killing a life. You're burning it, then you're roasting it on the fire, and then you are taking it inside, and then it's leaving acidic ash and toxins in your body, and you do it for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Your tissues become so clogged with the toxins and acids, and then body has learned a lot of things to actually fight this acidic chemistry in the body. There are many ways. I'll probably talk about it later, but I would say that we are not allowing our body to function the way it should naturally function. So those four processes: digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination. These four things are very, very important. And what's happening, the body is kept busy with digesting, because we are eating 4 times. In most of the societies, we are eating 4 times unnatural foods every day without a break, 365 days. Starting with, in India, especially if we talk about, we start with some grains or legumes kind of a stuff, maybe some dairy stuff. Then again, lunch would have grains, legumes, vegetables, again snacking on the grains, and again in the dinner, grains, legumes, and a lot of other stuff. And of course, non-vegans would have dairy, eggs, and dairy meats. So if you are ingesting or stuffing in your body 4 times unnatural foods without a break, what is body is doing? Only trying and to just somehow digest this food. Otherwise, if it remains undigested, it is going to become very toxic. So it's trying hard. And the absorption and utilization of the nutrition is not happening effectively. And the worst is that elimination is not happening effectively. So the people are becoming fat, their intestines, the entire undigested food is becoming, rotting. I would use this word, if you pardon me, rotting shit in your colon, right? And that entire humanity is actually full of shit, if you ask me. Because all of these rotting fecal matters actually are becoming toxins over a period of time. And that's the main reason for all the chronic diseases which we see, right? And of course, as Daryl also talked about, this is the environment is highly polluted, because the air, food we still, we just eat 4 times a day, but air we breathe 24 hours a day. And in the cities, it is too toxic. There are about 80,000 kinds of chemicals in the world today. 80,000 kinds of chemicals. Every day, billions of gallons are pumped out of the factories, through heaters, through residential kitchens. Even residential kitchen, when you're using LPG, you are actually, and when you're frying, you are actually inhaling those toxic vapors from the oil frying. Then you are actually burning oxygen at home only by burning LPG, and the oxygen then is getting converted into carbon monoxide. So you are inhaling all of that at home itself. So the air is bad. Of course, the water is so bad. It's all chlorinated. And in US and some other countries, they're also putting fluoride, again neurotoxic. So air, water, food, it's all adulterated and polluted. And then when people fall sick, they want to suppress the symptoms by putting in more chemicals, like in terms of some synthetic medicines and vaccines, and just polluting and congesting their entire natural body with more and more chemicals. And this entire modern lifestyle in the cities and this way of living, unnatural eating, unnatural treatments, is actually becoming a very, very disastrous for the entire human body. And then it is giving mental stress as well. I mean, you are working in offices for 10 hours a day. You are on a Wi-Fi path. You are breathing stale air in some office, and it is always some stressful meetings happening in the offices. At home, people are not at peace. So it's all unnatural. No animals, if you see in the nature, has to attend a school or go to an office or attend take some chemicals in terms of treating vaccines, etc. Nobody has to wear a mask. They're all roaming around freely. Now a new thing has come that you have to block your oxygen and keep your carbon dioxide trapped. That's really disastrous. So it's all unnatural way of being, living, existing that is causing all of this. And we have to go back to nature. There's no other choice. Otherwise, nature is not in danger. The earth is not in danger. The human species is in danger, and they better go back and connect to nature. Otherwise, it's going to be disastrous from them, not for anybody else. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I can completely resonate with that we have made such an unnatural environment for us to live in, from all the elements that you mentioned, that it's no wonder, and not is it only, as you mentioned, toxifying the human body and causing all these crises that we are seeing in health, but it's also detoxifying Mother Earth, our habitat on which we are living. If we are dumping 80,000 tons of chemicals, or whatever you say, 80,000 different kinds of chemicals, and millions of tons of these chemicals, we are dumping it into the earth, into the water, into the air, the very elements that sustain us. So I can completely resonate how we as a human species are, down a very, very disastrous path. And already the signs are here with all the forest fires, the ocean acidification, the air crisis, and so on, and that we have to correct it drastically. Otherwise, we are going to perish as a race. That's absolutely right. And it has such a great connotation for our health, for our children, for the continuation of the species, that it's really becoming more and more urgent. And that's why we need people like you and all of us to be talking about this more and more, and taking up that lifestyle as you seem to have, so that you can show the way to people on how to reconnect back with nature, how to go back to living in a wholesome way, holistically, rather than fighting with nature or trying to subdue it, or even fighting with our body with all this chemical warfare, but instead going and learning again from nature, becoming a student. So thank you very much for that. Sai, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so we have discussed enough, I guess, but still I want to just highlight few points. Food we discussed in detail. So in Nature Cure, we have one line that we eat food and food eats us. So we focus on what we eat, but how it is taking toll on our body, how much energy we are spending on digesting that food is what we have to consider. And that's why fruits get digested the quickest. So we are not spending a lot of energy on fruits to digest. So that was for food I just wanted to add. And I feel when I speak to people, I have understood that they're not connected well with their own bodies and their own thoughts. And that's why we are spending a lot of energy. There is excessive spend of life force or energy happening at different levels. Food is one bucket. The second bucket I want to talk about is actions. Okay. And third is thoughts. So if we can connect on all these three levels, foods, actions, and thoughts, and make sure that we are spending minimal, optimal amount of energy to carry out all the activities, then we can experience abundance of health. So for example, when I talk about actions, there are over activity around. Okay, people are getting exerted by just running on a treadmill or doing a lot of exercise. But if we can switch to mindful exercise, for example, yoga or anything that you like, we are saving our spend of energy and as well as on thoughts. So because we are not connected with our thoughts, most of the times we don't know where is the conflict or whether there are conflicts inside, and we spend maximum amount of energy on those thoughts as compared to even food. So it's okay if you are not eating correct 100%, but if you are not thinking correct, then that have maximum spend on your energy is what we learn. So I think foods, actions, and thoughts, if we can just connect back to ourselves and to nature, through nature, then it's going to help us. And on food also, we spoke about food from earth, but there are different foods which we can consume from fire, that is sunbathing, be outside in the sun, the air, okay, we can control air through pranayam. And then there is space food like fasting. So there are different ways to incorporate nature, 5 elements of nature in our day-to-day life. And that is what is missing. The awareness is missing. is what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could you
Nandini,
share...
could I add a couple of points?
Yes, please. Yes, please, Darrell.
Yes, this was also on my mind. In my book, I agree so much with what Saeed just said. My book has a chapter called The Five Elements Therapy. And with respect to that, I'm talking about people living in the cities, in the metro cities, and which I call, concrete jungles and the graveyards of humanity. Because that format of living, and that's the reason why I left Mumbai, I ran away from Mumbai in 2010 to come and live in my ancestral home in Goa on the land, to walk bare feet, to do my growing food around my house. Because in the city format, the five elements are cut off from us. We get lesser of those five elements. Now, for a life that Shanu is talking about, more natural, more in nature. There, if you're walking bare feet, you get the earth element. You get enough of sun element. You're in a place of natural forest or trees around you. You get good oxygen levels and air element. What Sai spoke, and also the space element. Yeah, we all know if you go on a mountain top, you feel your aura expand. You feel amazing. But working in these small cubicles, being in a house, 4 people in a room, that's subconscious. People don't realize it, but they do feel compression of energy. So there's earth in the flats. We're all walking with footwear all the time and slippers. We get no earth element. Otherwise, we are staying on the 22nd floor of an apartment. So we are missing earth. Water in the city coming from municipality pipelines with chlorinated water. It's dead water because all the microorganisms or the healthy bacteria that even make vitamin B12 and all are missing from that water, which I do get now in well water over here in Goa. So even our water quality is bad from the city, and people think this is all okay, and they're seeing the results. I mean, the most chronically sick people are in the metro cities. And so when we have this earth element missing, water element contaminated, fire is like what Shanu said, the sunlight is missing, vitamin D3 deficiency in cities, and then air quality. We know what's happening in Delhi and all of that. That's why people are leaving their houses and trying to come to Goa, because the air is good, and space I already spoke about. So that's what people need to understand, that these modern, so-called modern formats are the actual, unhealthy and failed, models of format, and people need to start going back to nature and natural surroundings. Second point I wanted to make was, we spoke about food and processed food, and Shanu also spoke about food that's produced, it's got chemicals in it. Besides that, I want to say about even if food is natural, what are we doing to foods? For example, the common wheat that is available now has been gone through 17 mutations, right? So all of this mutation of food, the human body that has come through thousands of years of evolution, it cannot recognize that substance anymore. And when that mutated food goes in the body, your immune system starts working against it. Okay, so count that out of your, I mean, there are several factors, but if you're looking at not getting affected by coronavirus, you start making a map of how much of my immunity is available to fight a virus. Okay, so if you're eating mutated foods, then you cut out 10% from there. If you're eating processed foods, then you cut out another 10% from there. And I think another aspect is what we're hearing now. Patients having the higher risk of getting the virus, and they are dying because their immunity is much lower. A comorbid person is a person who's taking allopathic medicines for managing their diabetes, high BP, cholesterol, hormonal imbalance, digestive disorders, and all of that. You know that these are not, everybody knows, they are not curing that condition. That's why you have to take it for the rest of your life. So you have some unnatural substance that's going into your body, or inorganic substance. My neighbor across over here, just having like Saradon for headaches, and then 2 years change the tablet, and then the headaches keep on going on, went on, and after 8 years, both his kidneys failed. So you know from this evidence that these things are damaging the body, and obviously cutting down and engaging the immune system. So any comorbid person, take 20% of your immunity out. It's engaged fighting this thing daily. And then all the other aspects that we, our panelists spoke about today, You keep on minusing 10%, and the average person in the world today, I don't think they have even 25-30% of the immunity free to fight this virus. So that's an important map everybody should make. And the last point was, yes, a lot of it is written in my book, where I'm even in my TEDx talk about staying away from animal products, okay, and meats and all of that. I make several very technical and scientific, justifications for staying away from meat. And just as a joke, I say that, if you think, fish is your food, I'll throw you in the sea and let me see you catching one fish by your hands. And this is coming from one law of God or law of creation. That's then my TEDx talk. And it says that God has given every living thing on this planet in its own containment. That means in its body, the entire tools to get its food and eat its food, right? So if I don't give you a gun and chopper or some implement, and you're just by yourself, I'll keep you in the open farm with a chicken, that knows that you're going to come and try to kill it. Try to catch the chicken and show me, right? Even if I bring a big cow inside your room and keep a big cow, it's not going to run anywhere. Let me see one human being also biting the cow's head off or scratching it and tearing it apart. So we don't, even there's a small rat in the room, we cannot catch that rat. Okay. So people have to understand there are many very natural things and indicators which tell them that certain things are not their food. And for me, meats are, toxic. I mean, all animals, when they are killed, at that point of time, they secrete the highest amount of stress hormones. So we're eating very acidic food, we are taking all these stress hormones, and we expect that we will not be people who become violent, angry, get stressed out. That's something illogical. People should understand what their choices are. So for a healthier body, for a more peaceful mind, I always recommend a complete plant-based diet, because that's what primarily healed me of all my the 14 years of sickness.
Thank you very much, Daryl. And
Nandini,
yes,
I would like to also add in few seconds only.
Sure, take your time.
Yeah. So while we have all analyzed and discussed, and I think that actually has taken a lot of toll on our health in modern world, maybe last 100 years or so, when more industrialization took place and a lot of other chemicals started getting manufactured for various of our unnatural needs. But if we go back a few thousand years back when Ayurveda evolved, right? Back then, the environment was cleaner, much cleaner. Back then, everything was probably organic. I think it was. And back then, we didn't have these modern offices or adding chemicals in our food. Back then, we didn't have studying hard or working hard or this vehicle, etc. So even then, Ayurveda had to evolve thousands of back because people were sick. Even then, what would be the root cause? The root cause again would be your cooked food, because people were eating grains, legumes, 3-4 times a day. Maybe some would be using milk as well, but milk also was not as adulterated as it is now, right now. And people must be eating meats also, some of them. Not so much in India though, because the meat consumption habits actually came from invaders in India. Mughals came, the Westerners came. Otherwise, India, I would assume, will not be too much into animal-based foods. Being a tropical country, it produces a lot of fruits and vegetables and other stuff. So I would say, since the time of cooking our food, we've started denaturing our foods, and eating this 3-4 times is taking a huge issues in our body. It's unnatural. The body doesn't recognize it. Body can work hard to take some calories out of it by grains and legumes, but it has to work really hard. The organs get highly taxed and they get degenerated. And that's when I talk about that. That's how we have to regenerate them through the detoxification of years of toxicity. So it's just not the chemicals in the modern world. It's just not the pollution. It's just not our modern stress. It is also what we say, the home cooked food. The home cooked food, I say, is the home denatured food. So that's one of the main reasons of entire humanity. If not early, maybe 20, 30, but even in 50, 60, 70, the organs get degenerated and they die untimely death. A human actually on a natural diet in a natural environment, there have been research and there have been a lot of examples, can live up to 140 to 150 years. Nowadays, in the modern society, we think 60, 70 is normal, new normal, right? So I would say cooked food is the number one devil, followed by, of course, there is a lot of chemicals, and that has further reduced the longevity and lifespan. So we have to eliminate both. And if people can't do completely natural food in one go, they can transition and eventually try and see if they can live on natural spontaneous foods. The entire animal species, the entire world set for humans, and maybe some pet dogs and cats, lives on natural foods. In nature, my favorite author, or natural healer, John Arnold Arrett, I know we've all heard of it. He made a very nice quote that from a small crawling worm in the nature to a large elephant and a whale, they find their spontaneous natural foods in the nature. Nature has prepared for them. No species would exist in the nature if nature had not created the natural food already in the nature itself, right? So they all are eating natural foods, and they live their life. Look at tortoise, and they live up to 200 and 300 years. They eat natural foods, right? And they don't take any vaccines or chemicals, or they don't don't do anything. They just exist, right? So we have to learn that more of you consume natural foods, more you will be healthier, and you'll be better off. Of course, we have to reduce and probably eliminate chemicals somehow from our lives. So that will make it further better. Thank you.
Thank you. I had gone to Sadhana Forest in Auroville many years ago, and over there they live completely naturally. They compost everything. They even run a treadmill to generate their own electricity for running, their laptops and so on. And they live in a completely natural building and so on. So when I'd gone there, when you eat and there are you have to wash your own utensils. So if there's anything left on your plate, you have to throw it in the compost. So they had a separate compost for raw food and a separate compost for cooked food. And that was the first time I had seen something like that. And at that time, I didn't even know that much about composting. And I asked them, why are these two separate? And they said, because raw food composts really quickly within like 5 days or something, unless there are big chunks. But the cooked food takes 15 days, 3 weeks to compost. And I was like, that, it stuck there. But later on, when I learned about composting and I learned about health and raw food and cooked food, I was thinking that if, the same thing applies to the body. If we are putting raw food into our body, obviously it is getting used, eliminated, and all of that within a matter of hours, actually, in our body. And the remains don't stay, for more than a couple of days, probably. But when you eat cooked food, it's like that toxic compost, where it's like there for 3 weeks. And this was a vegetarian place. If they had put non-veg stuff, actually it's a vegan place. Sadhana Forest is completely vegan. But if you actually put, meat and eggs, I don't know how long it takes, which is kind of goes to what all of you have been saying, and especially Shanu, when he talks about the fact that, it leaves acidic ash, and it leads all kinds of toxins and stiffness of your entire body and so on. And that's quite believable if you just look at this simple natural process. And very recently, about a few months ago, I made this connection that, if it stays so long in the compost, then it's obviously not good for us either, for our bodies, because our bodies are really compost machines if you look at it. All the herbivores are actually like compost machines. They are composting the earth's matter and giving it back to the soil, and then the soil is regenerating the food again for them. So it's a very beautiful cycle if we really contemplate on it. So my next question, sorry.
I mean, it's a proven scientific fact now also, and a lot of anthropologists, renowned ones, and Robert Leakey is one of them. They have, done years of research, and they have concluded that, humans are frugivores. Our primary food should be primarily fruits and some vegetables and maybe some nuts and seeds in moderation. And, then there are other carnivores, omnivores and herbivores. So I would say, cooked foods, yes, they gave advantage to human species with the rest of the compared to the rest of the species, and we got more variety to eat. But then, diseases also started from the same time when we started including cooked food. So it's kind of a safety food. The grains and legumes, you can store them for long. Like for example, wheat is such a great, it's a grass seed. It can be grown in very harsh climates as well without too much of water, etc. And can be stored for even 2 years. It's a safety food. But that doesn't mean that it's healthy food or it's natural food. You can survive on it, but you can't thrive on it.
Wonderful.
So I think that's what people need to understand. Maybe they can eat some cooked here and there, more of alkaline stuff, but they should reduce the amount of cooked food people. Even vegans, I would say, they are eating cooked vegan, processed vegan. That is also not healthy. It's a great step when you have converted or when you turned vegan, because you eliminate the other acid-forming foods like meats, eggs, and dairy. But again, you should take journey further ahead and to move towards more of natural vegan foods. I don't say raw, because raw is kind of, people would say, and they will get offended, of why you ask me to eat raw. I will say it's sun cooked, it's nature cooked food. It's not raw.
Yeah, it takes months, weeks and months for nature to ripen that food for us to eat, or grow that food for us to eat. So it is.
And
totally
you drink your best water. Actually,
you
should eat your water. You should eat your water. Your best water is in the fruits and vegetables. It's distilled by sun, and it's really amazing. You don't need any outside water. Really, drinking water is unnatural. If I tell you, as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
But people are eating dehydrated food, so the body is getting dehydrated because it has to create too much of digestive juices, and it uses all of the water content of the body in creating those juices, so you feel dehydrated, right? So we are dehydrating ourselves all the time, and dehydration actually leads to cancer eventually.
Yeah.
We will talk about it later in length later on.
Okay. So Sai, I want to ask you next that as a health educator, what is it that you would share with a client who might approach you and say, I need some help with my health? So what is your methodology? And also, how should people reach out to you or follow you? What's the best way? But just give them a little flavor of what your approach is.
Yes. So I started by teaching yoga. Then I shifted to helping people switch to nutritionally balanced plant-based diet if they are willing to make that change. And now I have learned about all these other aspects of holistic living. So I have 4 modules with which I work. I have named them as Eat Right, Move Right, Think Right, and Rest Right. So what I do is, basically my mentor always says, we don't look at the body, but look at the habits. So habits are behind everything. Even if you show me your blood reports, I won't get to know much. But if I ask you what time you go to sleep, what time you wake up in the morning, how is your thought pattern, then that helps me a lot to understand where is the drain of energy happening. So basically I handhold people, being a health coach, I handhold people converting into the habits, the right habits in all these 4 areas. Eat right, where it is whole food, plant-based foods. On top of that, addition of subtle foods like food from fire, air, water, and space. And then move right, I conduct yoga sessions, physical yoga, focusing on the detoxing, like lymph node mobilization and all that, and as well as non-physical yoga, which works on yoga nidra, yin yoga, pranayama, where we are not working on physical part of it, but more mental part of it. That is part of move right. Then third is rest right, where we sit together and design the sleep routine. And basically, I help them wake up early. When they wake up early, they go to sleep on time, instead of telling them to sleep on time. So that is one of the habits we work on. And then there is think right, where we work on small changes, affirmations, like how to resolve conflicts and how to get ready for the day. That comes in think right. So all these 4 modules, I offer it as a 21-day online challenge on WhatsApp. That is what is happening. And apart from that, I have yoga sessions which are going on for last 10 years, which are now shifted to online mode. So if you want to know more about it, and if you want that hand holding in changing your habits, then my website is www.saiyamma.com. cewithsai.com, cleaneatingwithsai.com, and there you will get to know more in detail about all the programs that I offer. And on top of that, I also take personal consultations where I work one-on-one with people for customized program. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. And are you on Instagram or?
Yes, so I'm on Facebook. My Facebook page is again CE with Sai. Insta is CE with Sai. LinkedIn page is the same, CE with Sai. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Daryl, could you please share a little bit about what your approach is and where people can connect with you?
Surely, Nandini. So people come to me with, when they tried everything else and it's, not working, they hear of my story of, so many years of sickness. And so people that I get are having, not only just one chronic illness, but 2, 3. They will have high BP, cholesterol, diabetes also, and some other issues. So first I work with the physical and I use an integrated natural therapy system, which I have learned across the years, practiced and experienced with all of my clients also since 2005. And I take diet and nutrition as the first, and I look at what diet they're having and transition it to a plant-based diet. I do look at a balance of raw and cooked also, because that's one time I was deviating more, more inclined towards raw. And then I could see myself losing a lot of weight and even some of my patients. And when I did the deeper research, that's when I came to understand the full cycle. And what I just want to share now is that human beings in cities, we are not living a natural format of life. Like I said, we are missing the 5 elements. So when those other elements are missing in your life and you're here, so for me, cooked food represents a lot of earth element. The more of cooked food you eat, you put on a lot more of earth element. So some of my patients who have digestive disorders and all, when they go raw, raw gives you a fantastic detox, will help you drop 20 kilos within 4, 5, 6 months, and all of that. But then finally, we have to understand that once the detox and all is done, what is the balance formula, right? So then I bring in a little cooked food again if a person is losing too much weight. And this is detailed in my book also, where I explain the 5 elements, and even there's a bit basic Ayurveda in it of balancing Kapha, Pitta, and Vayu. And on a 100% raw diet, Vayu goes really high, people get thin, and they'll have dry skin, falling off of hair. So I have mentioned over there that a Kapha body type is the only body type that I've seen can go 100% raw, and for a long time. And Pitta body type, they need lesser raw in their diet, and Vayu body type needs the least raw. And this is for the altered format. So altered format of living is what we are doing in modern life. But then if you can go and if you can get out of the concrete jungle and come and live on the land and start eating, having groundwater and have food from the forest, fresh things, then you don't, then you can be on a 100% raw diet. But you have to be 100% in nature, because that we have to understand we were made of these 5 elements. Okay, now we are disconnected from them, so we have to compensate a little. So I look at a case-to-case basis and bring in that balance. So along with diet and nutrition, the next is acupressure for diagnosis and healing, because people bring all of their reports and the liver function test is clear. I just touch the hand, and in half a minute I know the liver function. Okay, and then I said no, liver function can't. Those diagnostic tests cannot give you a complete, diagnosis of the liver. So that's what I do with my patients, and I also teach this on an online workshop. So people, because here we're trying to cure the average person. I mean, the average person could not get cured with all the diagnostics in the world that the expert doctors gave them. What is the new thing that they have in their hand to know whether they're actually sick or not? You see, whether it's actually a liver problem, or it's a kidney problem, or it's appendix, or the spleen. So that diagnosis happens just within half an hour, entire or maximum 1 hour. You can check all your body parts. And so I say, once you know what is wrong, then you can start working on that. So acupressure also uses, to heal those organs. So it's diagnosis as well as healing. I teach it mostly on the hands, you have points on the foot and entire body. For me, that's a very important, aspect of my integrated system. Then I also use herbs for healing, and then natural detox is also natural herbs for detoxing. There's a liver cleanse, there's a kidney cleanse, stomach cleanse, colon cleanse, all of that. Because we have got to, take out that junk, all of the processed foods that we are eating earlier. We got to take out that junk and those molecules and the atoms and molecules from our organs. So I follow detox therapy. And then, of course, there's sun yoga, what I teach, and a 5 elements therapy. So these are the integrated things that I do. Uh, I was doing these workshops in different, metro cities in India, and I started doing that in 2012. And finally, I had to stop because of lockdown. I had to schedule workshops in one in Delhi, 23rd of April, and then in Mumbai, 24th. I couldn't do them, so I took my workshop online. It's an online workshop now where I'm teaching acupressure too and all of this integrated therapy. So people can attend it anytime. It's available. It's like on Facebook. It's a closed group. It's almost like a classroom. You get into it. You do all the 14 classes. Takes you about 14 hours. So maybe you can do it over 2-3 days. So that's what I have available right now. And people, for this information, they can go to my website, darryldesouza.com. From there, the first thing they'll find my health website, becomehealthyerextinct.com. Once they go there, just go to the therapy section or workshop section, and you'll find that workshop there. They can also download my book, Become Healthy or Extinct, from the homepage of that website, and get very good basics. I follow natural sciences, and natural sciences means that whatever is being spoken or taught of, wherever it comes from, even from the biggest nutritional college in the world, I will take each principle and say, now, show me this principle working in nature. Okay, that is truth, and not something manufactured in a lab or somebody's, intellect. So that's the kind of system that I follow. All of my sciences are living principles in nature.
All right, thank you very much. And last but not least, Shanu, if you can share with us what your approach is, and how can people get in touch with you?
Well, my approach again is, requesting people to become nature, because you are nature also, and you have to become one with it. So I have, started this initiative called Natutarian. So I say, okay, don't become vegetarian or a vegan or liquidarian or breatharian, become Natutarian, right? And when Natutarian, it's just not about eating, but also living and breathing and being and experiencing the nature as a whole. So my initiative, I have a website called natutarian.com, natutarian.com, and I've been making a lot of videos, and I have my social media channels. I've been freely educating people on this kind of lifestyle for I think I forgot how many years, at least 2-3 years now, and I am making up building a detox retreat about a couple of us from Mumbai in nature, in Sahyadri Hills, where I will be making some ecological huts. I'm making a small house for myself as well, and it has a food forest. So you stay there, whenever the natural foods are growing, you take fresh from the nature, because their leaves, the surface of the fruit and vegetables would also have B12, right? A lot of vegans, when they turn vegan, they are worried about B12. But if you are eating cooked foods all the time, or the processed foods all the time, like vegan mock meat or vegan cheese and all of that, you are going to be lacking all of this, right? But it's all the vitamins you're actually killing when you're cooking, right? So, and even the fruits and vegetables which are grown chemically, using lots of other things, they would also lack all of those things, because you are killing those microbes using chemicals. They can't produce B12. B12 is basically bacteria. It's everywhere in the nature. It's there everywhere on this, on the soil. So you have to become a Natutarian, and that's what I teach. And that the process is called regenerative detoxification first, because natural healing again is a slow process. Now your years of toxicity and acidity, 30, 40, 50 years will not go in a day. It takes at least 1 month of detox for 1 year of your life, which you lived wrongly earlier. So only when you've detoxed completely, all your chemical deposits, mineral deposits, acids, toxins, mucus has gone out, the body will then channelize its energy to actually regenerate at a cellular level. So that's what is regenerative detoxification. So you have to detox a lot and then rebuild your organs and glands. So all your glands will heal. And people suffering from thyroid gland or adrenal gland issues or pituitary gland issues, basically all those 7 endocrine glands are your computer systems. Thus, they control the body functions for all the organs and entire body. And they get degenerated over years of wrong life, toxins and acids. So once you flush out all your toxins and acids, the body itself will regenerate, at a cellular level. So that is what I teach, and it has helped a lot of people. And I am giving free education on my YouTube channels and website, etc. And people should actually do research and ask and take this journey forward. Those who can't do themselves, and those who have been suffering from diabetes and BP, heart disease, cancer, etc., I do personal guidance from them through video chat or online to personalized detoxification programs for a small amount of money, which actually goes back into funding my natural initiative, because I'm creating information assets for creating this awareness. So I do personal coaching and guiding for detoxification to healing, and I have helped to many people, including cancer. And there was a couple from Mathura and Chennai. They both had colon cancer, and they could reverse all of their conditions without any chemotherapy and radiation. That is too acidic and toxic for human body. Nobody should actually be subjected to do that. And I would leave the final message saying that prevention is better than cure. People can heal through detoxification, natural healing, the cancer as well. But the healing crisis and the journey again is painful, because when body detoxes, you would face a lot of symptoms, right? So you don't want to go there. Cancer is the last stage of severe toxicity and acidity. So you should prevent. You should start eating natural alkaline diet as much as possible, and that would correct at least 90% of the issues. If you can't leave your job right now, you have to be in the city for making and sustaining your life, and you have to be in the city environment for a lot of other things. But at least you can control 2 important things, which what goes inside your body and what touches your body, right? So I don't use any soaps on my body. I don't use any shampoos on my body, right? I only use water and sometimes some essential oils, and I don't even brush, right? So brushing, or you are putting plastic brush in your teeth, and your microplastic particles again are getting absorbed in your body with gums. So you can definitely control 2 things in your life: what goes inside your body and what touches. Rest you can manage, and you can transition to a natural lifestyle later on. That's what I would say. Be a naturitarian. Thank you.
Thank you. And actually, I had a final question, which I'm inviting all of you to answer in just 30 seconds, which is for all the people who are watching today. If you can share like your best tips, it can be 1 or 2 maximum, whatever you can do in 30 seconds. So if someone says, I don't have a lot of time, just hit me with your best advice. So that's what we would leave the audience with today. And any of you who gets it first, can volunteer to speak up first. Just 1, it could be just 1 also, just sort of your parting line, so that people can remember that and be motivated and inspired to walk the path that all of you actually have been collectively talking about. So please go ahead.
Okay, I would say 1 statement: don't eat food which is advertised on TV, internet, and newspaper. Eat what is coming from the nature directly. Nature doesn't need any advertisements. Thank you.
Yes, I would add to that and further say that don't eat any food that is coming in a processed food. Anything that's got the word preservative on it and stabilizer on it, that's a package of atomic warfare in a tight container that you're opening and allowing that atomic warfare to happen in your body. Okay, that's not natural food. It's man-made food. It's very toxic. Stop going to malls and to supermarkets to buy food. There is no real food over there that will make you healthy.
Okay, let me also talk about food, because everybody's talking about. So 1 quote comes to my mind, which I have heard recently. If your body cells, if you eat carrot halwa, your body cells are getting built with carrot halwa. If you eat carrots, your body will ask for carrots. So you have to spend time, slow down in understanding that your body likes carrots. And that can happen simply by chewing food slowly. So I think slow down is what I want to tell at every level, starting with chewing food to thinking to resting to exercising. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And I would like to thank all the panelists for showing all these wonderful ways that you have been following to take holistic steps to vibrant health with your own life as the journey. It has been an extremely inspiring panel, and I personally have learned so much. And I'm sure that the people who are attending this are also very inspired. And of course, they know all your approaches and where to connect with you. And I would just like to tell them there is no time to be wasted. Start today. Even if you feel you can't completely, do everything, leave the city, leave processed food or go to raw food, that's okay. Start with one step, because all it takes is one step. When you feel the benefit of that one step, nature will rush in to integrate you, to make you whole again. And it will become easier and easier, even if you take half a step. Just start on that journey, and all the support is here, and nature herself is here, and she wants you to heal. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nandini.
Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right.
Nandini. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.